Hi there. Today I'm going to share tips on avoiding mistakes when we change or modify values in the Python list. I found this is really helpful when working with Python list, and by understanding these, you can avoid the same mistakes to ensure your code works correctly. So let's get started. Let's start with a simple quiz here. As you can see, there are three variables here: animal 1, animal 2, and animal 3. These variables contain string values. The value of animal 1 is tiger, and I assigned animal 2 and animal 3 to have the same value as animal 1. And in this line, I changed the value of animal 3 to cat. Now let's print all of them. Before I run the code, so your job is to guess what the outputs are. Okay, so have you got the answer? I believe you'll answer it correctly. Now let's run it. See, the result is as expected. The values of animal 1 and animal 2 are tiger, and for animal 3 is cat because we change it right in this line. That's pretty obvious. But how about if we use list data type instead of string data types? I mean, we change tiger string here to a list. Will the code behave the same? I mean, will the value of animal 1 and animal 2 remain the same and only the value of animal 3 change? Let's try it and we'll find a very interesting thing. Now I'm going to copy this code and comment it out. And let's change it to lists. And this is, let's say, cat, and this is dog. Okay, and for animal 3, I'm going to change the whole value in the list. So I'm using for loop for this. Okay, animal 3 is wonderful. Okay, so in this for loop, I change all of the item in animal 3 by adding wonderful. So the list will be tiger wonderful, cat wonderful, and dog wonderful. Okay, before I run this code, would you take a second to guess what the outputs are? Great. Now let's run it. Hmm, okay, something weird happened. I didn't do anything to animal 1 and animal 2, as you can see here. I only made some modifications on animal 3. But why do the items in animal 1 and animal 2 also change? Okay, to figure this out, first we have to understand about mutable and immutable object in Python. Remember, everything in Python is an object, and each object in Python is the instance of a class. Some classes like string, integer, and tuple are immutable, and classes like dictionary, list, set are mutable. So what does it mean? It's pretty, it's the name is self-explanatory. Mutable, that means you can change it. Immutable means you cannot change it. So let's take a look at this line. And when we assign a list to animal here, um, you know that animal is an object, meaning it's an instance of the list class. So the value in the variable animal1 is an object, and that object is an instance of the list class. So let's check it by using type function. So you can make type animal1 and let's print it. Now let's run the code. As you can see here, the type is list, right? And in this line, let's close the terminal first. In this line, we assign uh, animal 2 equals animal 1. That means we assign the value in the animal 2 equals animal 1. Remember, everything in Python is an object. So animal 2 contains the same object as animal 1. And also animal 3 contains the same object like animal 1. So let's check whether they are the same object or not and how to do it. And we use ID function to check the ID of the object. So let's animal 1 and let's print it. And let's copy it to here is animal 3. Now let's run it. Let's check it. Okay, all's good. So see, the ID are all the same for animal 1, animal 2, and animal 3. So they are all the same. And let's check it one more time, the ID, after we make some changes here. So let's print them. Okay, after we make changes here, we print the ID again. See? So let me make it bigger, the terminal. So the object, before we change, we modify animal 3, is the same after we modify the object in animal 3. So when we modify one of the variable, Python does not create a new object. The object remains the same. When we modify one of them, all of the variable change. I hope it makes sense. Um, to explain it more, maybe we can look at string. Let's comment this out first. Okay, and uncomment this. So in here, we have three variables that contain string. Now let's try to print the ID of the animal. Okay. And now, okay. Now let's run it. See, something happened here. Animal 1, animal 2, and animal 3, before we make any changes here, they are all the same object. But when we change animal 3, the value in animal 3, something happened here. The object is different now. Why? Because string is immutable. We cannot modify string. Therefore, Python creates a new object to be stored in animal 3. Okay, so now let's comment out this again and uncomment all of this. Okay, how about the problem is how about if we only want to change the value in animal 3? We only want to change this. The solution is straightforward. We have to redeclare it by using list function. Therefore, Python creates a new object for animal 3. Let's try it. So animal 3 equals animal 2, but we add list function here. Okay, using this function ensures Python creates a new object for animal 3. Now let's run it. See, when we assign the value of animal 2 to animal 3, and useless function, Python creates a new object. Therefore, when you change animal 3 here, the value in animal 1 and animal 2 remain the same. Why? Because now, after we using this, animal 3 is a different object. It's not the same with animal 1 and animal 2. Okay, so to wrap this up, the key takeaway from this video is be careful when assigning variables and always checks whether it's a mutable or immutable object. If not, you will ruin your program. Okay, that's it, and see you in my other video.